Okay, so now we're on page 8, and this is the notes of the fretboard. So if you're in my Guitar 2 or my advanced guitar class, I do want you to memorize the notes of the fretboard, and we'll get into a methodology for how to do that. Otherwise, I just want you to understand the way the notes lay. And again, if you're really confused by this, don't worry. Any material in these first few pages, of course, you can ask me what it is. But remember, it's going to be introduced at a much slower pace as we move through the book. So if your mind is being blown, don't worry. It's going to be okay. What happens here is, unlike the tablature where I told you to flip the guitar like this, now I want you to turn your guitar like this. And this lines up with the book, okay? So now as I'm looking at this, the string that's running vertically on the left is the string that's vertically on the left of the textbook, okay? So it goes E, A, D, G, B, E, okay? From left to right. And then if you look, what I did was, again, moving left to right horizontally, I went by each fret, okay? Now this way, if you're looking that way, just horizontally, it's very confusing. You can see F, A sharp, D sharp, G sharp, C, F. That's not the way I recommend first understanding the layout of the guitar. I would look linearly, vertically on this page. It's horizontally for us as we hold the guitar. That's where you're going to see the motion of the chromatic scale. Okay, so it's E, F, F sharp, G. That system doesn't break down. It goes along all strings. If I start on the E on the second fret of the D string, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. If I start on the A string, A. It's always in the same order, you'll see. As you move from the top of the page down, it's always moving through the chromatic scale depending on what note you start on. Okay, but the system stays the same on the guitar. To start with, we're going to just learn 2 or 3 notes at a time on the strings. That's all you're going to memorize. But if you wanted to think about learning the whole guitar, which again, I have a method for that later, but the most useful might be to just learn the low E string at first, just to learn these ones, the E, the F, the G, the A, the B, C, D, E. That's a nice frame of reference. The other thing that's tricky about the guitar compared to piano, apart from piano being very visually easy to understand, on the guitar, we have multiple places you can play the same note. Okay, so this is an E, this is an E, this is an E, right? So, etc. So it's a little tricky. Be patient with yourself, and I will teach you how to do this for sure.